Every week is Hell Week in college. That's what college students always hear, and that's what we experience. Although it is no longer a surprise to us, we can't deny that being bombarded with tons of tasks is not an easy challenge. Some of us have experienced sacrificing our social life, hobbies, and sleep to review for a test or to beat that 11:59 p.m. deadline. But does success really entail sacrificing essential things in life? Or is there a way for us to attain success while also experiencing the joys and bright sides of life? This will be the topic of our conversation in this episode. We will listen to the memories of people from two different generations who have faced the dilemma of maintaining balance in life. Hopefully, by the end of this episode, you will learn the value of finding time for yourself and pursuing your dreams. So keep your mind at ease as you tune in to this first episode of Memories Made Known.
So, hey, what is up, Themasians? Most of you are probably busier than usual as we can already feel the weight of the semester. But I hope that this podcast can give you some sort of relaxation or some time to rest in the middle of your busy schedules. I am Waki, one of your hosts for today's episode.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? I am Daryl, also one of your hosts for today's episode. I know that stress and pressure can hit us at this time of the school year, pero chill lang muna kayo, guys, from ACADS, even just for a little while, because we all deserve to rest naman from time to time.
That's right, Kuya Daryl. Deserve natin ng break from stress. Kaya naman this episode will surely be interesting for the stressed college students out there like me because today we will be talking about work-life balance.
I think some of us are really struggling to balance different aspects of our lives right now. Sometimes we become too focused on our academics to the point that we forget that there are other important things in life. Hence, for today's episode, we invited some guests who will share their memories of facing the challenge of balancing work and life. They will also give us some tips on how to achieve it.
Now, same with our audience, I also need some tips about this one. Kaya naman without any further ado, let's call on our guests for today. So our first guest is Ms. Mikaela Ong, who is currently serving as the External Vice President of the UST College of Science Student Council. She's also currently working as an intern. So our other guest naman for this episode is Ms. Jane Montilla, who is a corporate human resource professional for more than 40 years. She is currently a management consultant specializing in human resources and general management and has had more than 30 years of experience in executive management positions. And she has achieved numerous accomplishments throughout her career.
Hello po sa inyo, guys. Thank you po for taking the time to talk with us today.
We are so excited to learn from you and your stories po. And before that, magkamustahan muna po tayo. So, kamusta naman po kayo today?
Good evening. Hello po. Hi, Ma'am Jane. Hi, Daryl. Hi, Waki. Hello. Ayun, I guess Ma'am Jane can do the honor of going first.
Age before beauty ba?
Hindi naman po. Sige po, go ahead.
Hi,
How are you today?
I'm good. Kulang sa tulog. And yeah, because I have, well, sabi nila, masarap daw retirement because I'm supposed to be semi-retired already, but not this period because I have relatives coming in from all over, from the US, from Australia, from Canada. So we're doing a lot of get-togethers, parties. They want to do things. They want to explore places. They want to. Yung isa gustong magpatahi dito. Yung isa gustong magpa-haircut, magpa-foot spa dito. Ganon, siguro mahal doon. So, been driving for them. So medyo pagod kasi ang traffic na rin ngayon. Grabe.
Mm.
So yun, medyo pagod pero happy because it's seldom. I mean, especially after the 3-year pandemic break. So it's so nice to see them, hug them, feed them. Tutuwa ako pag masarap yung kain nila dun sa hinanda ko. Yun. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, ako rin po happy to have you here right now. Actually, hindi ko pa na-expect na retirement age. Parang,
Ano po eh, 30s?
yeah,
Joke lang.
ganyan
May
talaga.
youthful
But
glow pa po.
yeah, I think it's like that when you love what you're doing and
Mm.
you know that you are where you ought to be. Parang ganon.
Mm.
that's good to hear naman po. How about you, Ate Mikmik? Kamusta ka naman ngayong gabi?
Hello! Actually, ang funny because parang medyo nakikita ko na kung bakit kami yung in-invite nyo as speaker because may nakita ko similarity on like how Ma'am Jane answered the question. Like kaya medyo napasmile ako because like 'di ba she answered um kasi walang tulog ganon. Because
Mm.
same. Because, yun nga, kasi actually, before this talk, no, nung morning, na-mention nyo kanina na I'm an intern. Kaninang morning, I taught, kanina sa kids na naka-assign sa amin. So, yun, I was a teacher kaninang umaga. And then right after that, I was a project head naman nung event namin earlier, which I also hosted. So, yun. So, at the same time, so, pinacilitate ko yon kaninang afternoon after ko magturo sa mga bata. And then, ngayon namang gabi, ito, I'm a speaker ngayon. Kaya parang nakita ko yung similarity kasi parang, thank you. Parang nakita ko yung similarity kasi parang madaming ginagawa throughout the day. And firstly then, yun, I want to thank you guys for having me. And um yun, una pa lang gusto ko na sabihin na congrats and I'm proud of you guys kasi you continued um this podcast. Kasi fun fact po, I was part of the team who spearheaded this last year as the first ones to release the podcast. And ako yung nasa katayuan nila Daryl ngayon and Waki na nag-host. And now, this year naman, I am the one speaking. So, ayun. Advance congratulations, guys. Ayun.
Yay. Ate Mik, baka nag-drive ka din kanina.
Hindi naman, hindi. Although, I know how to drive, but I don't have a car here sa Manila, nasa province. Doon ako nagda-drive.
But yeah, it's nice to hear that everyone is good and ready. So now let's dive into our topic for today's episode. First, we want to know what led you guys to where you are now. Okay? So for our first question, why did you choose your career? Maybe you guys can share some stories from your childhood or maybe from your teenage years that will show how your interest in your chosen career has built up. Why don't we hear first from Miss Jane?
Okay. Um, I think I did not choose my career. My career chose me. That's how I felt. All I know was growing up, I enjoyed. I would tend to observe people. You know, I just like to observe. Like my cousins would be playing. I don't want to play with them. I just want to be with them and watch them play. You know, that was my tendency. And then when it got to the point where I had to decide on a course in college, um, I said, I don't see myself as selling or marketing anything. I don't feel that that fitted my personality. I'm not technical, so I said, not engineering, not. And I was average in finance, so I said, finance, accounting, parang corny. I want to be with people, parang ganon. I still want to continue observing and learning. And maybe in the process, I will understand the questions I have about myself. So as I went through the different courses, it seemed it was psychology that was closest to what I was looking for. Sabi ng father ko, and this was in the all of you were not your probably your parents did not meet yet, and you were not yet conceived, but um in the early 70s, my father would say, psychology, ano magiging trabaho mo? Teacher? Sabi niya ganon. I don't know. I just think that's what I want to learn. Paano mo bubuhayin yung sarili mo? Anong magiging trabaho mo after psychology? Parang ganyan. Kasi syempre, what was very clear then was, pag nasa medical field ka, ang trabaho mo nasa hospital or nasa clinic or something like that. Kung engineer ka, either gagawa ka ng mga kalye or mga bahay or whatever, no, mga buildings. Kung nasa finance ka naman, magiging accountant ka or finance head, etc., etc. Or kung magmo-marketing ka, yon, pwede kang maging head ng isang organization, because most of the heads of the organizations then were from either marketing or finance. So he couldn't understand why, no, not so much that he couldn't understand, but he was concerned about how will I be able to be self-sufficient with a course in psychology. Parang ganon. Mabubuhay ka ba niyan on your own? But anyway, I didn't I didn't think much about it. I said I want to take psychology, and it's what I think fits what I'm looking for. So wala naman siyang nagawa, so pinabayaan niya ako. And when I graduated, mabuti na lang my grades were good. So it was the school that looked for jobs for us who were in the honor group. So before I graduated, I already had 3 interviews set up by the school, and I was taken in by one. But all of these interviews were with companies in the Makati area. Okay. When I became a senior, and there was a lot of Filipinization during my time. I took all my subjects in my junior year and my senior year in Filipino. Okay. The school had a curriculum where subjects were taught in English and the same subjects were taught in Filipino. So I chose all Filipino because, one, I thought that was my weakest. I wasn't very good in Filipino, but I wanted to improve and learn. Also, there was a lot of that was the martial law area. So maraming mga rallies, mga demonstrations, maraming makabayan, etc., etc., etc. So graduating from college, my desire then was to serve in the local government, and be close and provide service to the mass. So I wasn't thinking of a Makati job. I wanted to be in communities, building communities, helping bring resources to poor communities, to the rural communities. And again, I had a conversation with my father, and he said, "You'll just get frustrated." Sabi niya ganon. So parang he felt na uh, I won't be happy in working in government, working in local governments, etc. So, dahil matigas ang ulo ko, I insisted. I insisted, I insisted, I insisted, and then nag-away kami. And then my mom stepped in and he said, kasi my dad was a heart attack survivor. Sabi ng mother ko, pag namatay ang tatay mo dahil sa away ninyo, ikaw ang sisisihin ko. Di syempre natatakot naman ako. Una, ayoko masisi. Pangalawa, ayoko naman mamatay ang tatay ko. And then my dad proposed what do you call that, a middle ground. Sabi niya, okay, work in Makati for 1 year. Give it 1 year. If after 1 year, you still want to work in the government, then fine. Hindi na ako tututol. So parang compromise namin yon. So that brought me to a Makati HR job. Okay. So, and when I started, hindi pa masyadong malinaw sa akin kung yun nga talaga yung gusto ko or career na gusto ko. But I knew I was doing a few things, some things that I really enjoyed. And then, meron pa rin yung call. So sabi ko, meron pa rin yung parang emptiness. Sabi ko, baka hindi naman ako para sa corporate. So I applied in a school and they accepted me and I said, yan, ano na lang ako. I will work in the academe. I had been working in corporate for about a year and a half na din. And when I went to the academe and, I started to do my demonstration and then they accepted me and then they said, okay, ito yung workload mo, ito yung units na mo, tuturo mo, at ito rin yung sweldo mo. Okay, when I saw the sweldo, when I saw the sweldo, I said, mabubuhay ba ako ng ganito? I think that it was like 30 pesos per unit. Okay, something like that, a month. Parang ganun. So, in my corporate job, I was already getting 1,800 a month. So sabi ko, mabubuhay ba ako with 30 pesos per unit? And because I was a new teacher, hindi ako full load. They were just giving me like 6 units. Sabi ko, 6 times 30, 180 a month. Sabi ko, kaya ko ba to? Then I realized how important to me yung being materially stable or materyoso din pala ako. Parang gano'n. Sabi ko sa sarili, it was a realization. Akala ko, idealistic ka. Materialistic ka rin pala. So anyway, then I went back to corporate. So yun na, it was, it's not easy. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it was not easy to feel and say na this is my career and I want to grow old here or I want to build this. Siguro it was after 7 years of working in corporate did I realize na okay, this is what I want. This is what I like. This is what I love to do. This is going to be the career I will build. So it took me 7 years of parang subok ito, subok yan, maybe ganyan. And in those 7 years, I think I had 4 employers na. Palipat-lipat ako. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that as long as yung dahilan mo hindi dahil natanggal ka dahil nagbulakbol ka or may ginawa kang masama. But if you're really like looking for your fit, no? Your own fit, okay yun eh. Pero of course, not too long, no? Baka naman 20 years na, ganun ka pa rin, no? Medyo mahirap din yun. So after 7 years of working, then I said, okay, so HR is what it will be for me. And then I I focused on HR, and then I started getting into companies that had a lot of were very demanding and had very little headcount resource. So most of the time, like for a company of 300, 500 people, it would just be me and another person. So I was not looking for work-life balance. I just wanted to be, one, stable, and two, I wanted to be able to support myself, sustain my my requirements, no? And parang because I didn't want to burden my parents. Parang feeling ko, you know, they've they've worked hard all their life to get me educated, no? So parang after I've gotten all this degree, parang ayoko na silang pahirapan pa. I should be able to stand on my own and, you know, support myself. Ganun yung attitude ko dati. So importante, it was very important for me to be able to have a good job, keep a good job, and grow in that career. So slowly naman, I started to grow. And on my 10th year, I started to become a department head. And I was already supervising a lot of people. So ganon, it just went on and on and on and on. So that's what I guess that's what I meant when I said the career found me, not me finding the career. Yeah.
Gets
Gets
naman.
naman po. How about you, Ate Mikmik? Oh, why did you choose your current pathing right now?
Hello, ayun. Okay, so for me, ang daming nasho-shock kapag nalalaman nila yung major ko and yung gusto kong gawin pa after I graduate. Kasi, um, BS Psychology is may pre-law. So, hindi siya I don't want to say na hindi normal, but hindi siya usual na ginagawang pre-law. Kasi usually, accountancy, legmag, pol-sci, etc. Yun. Um, yun. Bale yung reason kasi, nung una kasi, okay, parang nung bata ako, alam kong mag-lawyer ako. Okay, so decided ako. So until now, I'm still decided to uh, push through with law. So yun, before kasi hindi ko alam na, syempre bata pa. So hindi ko alam na may pre-law pala. Hindi ko yun alam. So yun, nung nag-high school ako, hindi ko pa rin siya iniisip, junior high, hindi ko pa rin siya iniisip. Sabi ko, ano ba kasi yun? Bakit? So, ilang taon ba talaga ako mag-aaral? Sabi ko gano'n sa sarili ko. Sabi ko, "Shocks, okay, ano 'tong pre-law sinasabi nila?" Ganyan, ganyan. Tapos nung nag-grade 10 ako, before I graduate junior high, sabi ko, yun pala yun. But nung grade 10 ako, 'di ba super late na, pag-graduate na ako junior high, pa-senior high na. Nung pag-graduate na ako, hindi ko pa rin naman alam, eh. Sabi ko, alam ko lang yung meaning ng pre-law, pero I don't know what I will take. Tapos pero alam ko sa sarili ko na ayun nga, alam ko kasi yung misconception na pol-sci, legmag, alam ko yon nung nag-grade 10 ako. But I know to myself na, ayoko nun. I mean, no offense, but it's not for me kung ganun yung gagawin kong pre-law. It's because, um, siyempre hindi madali maging lawyer. Kasi while you are at law school, kailangan mo din magtrabaho, of course. I mean, yun kasi yung thinking ko na while I'm in law school, kailangan ko mag-work. Kasi parang hindi ako pwedeng maging pabigat lang all throughout law school na hindi ako tumutulong with my academics and tuition, etc. I know to myself na hindi yun para sa akin. It's because wala yun sa ugali ko. Yung politics na yan, I mean, it's kind of, in a way kasi, yun, nasa ano siya, yung environment niya is not that kind. Yun na lang yung sasabihin ko, it's not that kind. And I know to myself na hindi yun para sa akin. Na alam ko na kapag yun yung graduate ko tapos magtatrabaho ako in that field, I won't like it at all. So, yun. Moving forward, senior high, eto na. Nalaman ko na kung ano yung gusto ko. Kasi there was one subject, discipline in applied social sciences. So, diniscuss yung different social sciences. May sociology, anthropology, etc., etc. And then, nung binanggit ng professor ko yung psych, sabi niya, psychology is the study of human behavior. As in, yun talaga, tumatak siya sa utak ko. As in, yun talaga yung line niya. Kabisado ko pa kung paano niya sinabi. As in, ganun na ganun. Like, may intonation, may ganun. Tumatak siya sa utak ko. Sabi ko, wow! Study of human behavior daw. Sabi ko, ano yun? Parang, wow. Kasi parang nung bata pa lang kasi ako, like, kilala na ako na like very outgoing na tao, na laging nagki-care sa mga tao, na laging iniintindi yung mga tao, tinatanong yung mga tao na, "Uy, kamusta ka? Uy, gusto mo ba 'to? Anong gusto mo? Okey ka lang ba? Kung gusto mo ng kausap, andito ako," et cetera, et cetera. Kilala na akong gano'n. I mean, hindi sa nagbubuhat ako ng sariling bangko, pero kasi kapag kinakausap ako ng mga friends ko or kapag dine-describe nila ako, gano'n yung naririnig ko sa kanila. Gano'n yung naririnig ko sa kanila. So ayun, sabi ko, "Oo nga 'no, parang I really like understanding people." Parang gusto ko na lagi silang naiintindihan. Gusto ko yung nalalaman what is in their mind, parang gano'n. Para naiintindihan ko sila, hindi yung basta-basta ko lang sila nakakita as someone na, okey, yan yung facade nila and that's it. Ayoko ng gano'n. I always want to understand people. So ayun, kaya ako napadpad sa psych. Kasi yun, parang that will motivate me more or mas maho-hone niya yung gano'n kong personality. It will satisfy yung kung ano ako as a person na maintindihan, et cetera. And yun, kapag and alam ko sa sarili ko na kapag ito yung course na tinake ko and then nag-graduate ako, magiging masaya ako with sorry, nag-freeze ata ako. Ayun, yan, okay. Magiging masaya ako with my work. Ayun, hindi ako yung parang, ayoko na trabaho ko. Kasi imagine, 4 or 5 years ako maglo-law school tapos araw-araw ko sasabihin na ayoko ng trabaho ko tapos stress pa sa law school. So, parang it doesn't make sense if the pre-law course that I will take is ayoko. So, ayun, that's why I ended up with BS Psych. Ayun.
And so it's super fascinating po to hear these stories kasi parang this is how you really see na how we mold or how we shape yung current career paths natin and yung future career paths na din natin is an accumulation of the lived experiences na we've had starting from childhood. Kaya nga po nang sabi ng shinare ni Ma'am Jane na parang as a child, she enjoyed observing her cousins play ganun instead of parang playing with them. She enjoyed observing more. And I think it really shows how big yung environment na kinalakihan natin of a factor is kapag nagde-decide tayo or like when we're figuring out what we want to do and what we want to pursue. Ikaw naman, Kuya Daryl, what are your thoughts naman on this one?
Actually, iniisip ko kung psychology is the study of human behavior, ano ang biology? Joke lang, pero um, honestly, napapaisip din ako sa kung paano ko na choose yung career ko. It was, for me naman, sa pagsa-study right now in biology, it was very sudden, very, very biglaan. Naalala ko pa yung moment na yun. I was in this exact room. Tapos, sa biology subject kasi namin, pinapa-drawing kami ng mga slides na mga, like, mga parts ng ng cell, gano'n. So, enjoy ko siya. Na-enjoy ko siya. Tapos nung ko na-realize na, oh my gosh, baka na-enjoy ko. Hindi ko alam kung na-enjoy ko yung pagda-drawing o yung biology. Joke lang. Joke lang, joke lang. Pero, hindi. After that, syempre, nagkaroon na ng accumulation na kahit, sometimes hindi ko naiintindihan yung nangyayari. Parang na-enjoy ko pa rin. It's very, yung info na pumapasok sa akin, it's very interesting to me. Although, somehow, hindi ako nakakuha ng kataasan na grades, I felt like it was something of a calling na I had to understand this thing more. I had to do something about this curiosity that I was feeling. So, yun yung nararamdaman ko, and somehow I hope that other people could also feel that when they choose their career. Na that sense of like exhilaration, that sense of curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah, so same with Kuya Daryl kasi parang, I chose biology parang hindi naman out of impulse pero parang like may sudden spark lang din na parang nag-light up in me and like ayun parang I guess dahil doon madali sa'kin mahalin yung course ko ngayon. Kaya it's really interesting for me to hear how your past experiences were able to shape yung current careers niyo po. Pero ngayon, in the workplace, there are employees from different generations. So we want to ask naman po, what is it like for someone from your generation to be a part of the workforce? Maybe Ms. Micaela can answer this question first.
Me personally, of course, ayun, I can't speak with about yung sa actual workforce. It's because undergrad. Siguro what I can say is about how I work sa organization and how I work with within the class. Ayun. Of course, I got the chance to interact with other people, yun nga, from different generations. Especially with organizing events, yun, sa council. With that, siguro what I can say is, kapag nakakausap mo na sila, dun mo kasi mapapansin yung dun mo makikita yung difference. Dun mo mapapansin yung difference. Kasi sa una, hindi mo of course, sa una kapag hindi mo pa sila nakausap, hindi mo yan mapapansin, eh. Kasi and then usually meron din misconceptions about them. Na, kapag ganitong age, ganito yung sumagot, hindi yan marunong, ganyan-ganyan, et cetera, et cetera. So, ayun. Based sa experience ko, there are moments na napapasabi ako na, mali yung misconception nila. Totoong misconception nga. Ganon. May mga moments na napapasabi akong ganon. Kasi, di ba parang sabi nila, kapag mas old yung kausap mo, sabihin nila, mean naman yan, hindi yan sasagot ng maayos. Ganito yan, baka hindi mo makausap ng maayos. Baka, anuhin ka lang yan, okrayin, gano'n. Okrayin, but yeah, gano'n. So, with that naman, kasi yun nga, nagkaroon naman ako ng chance na makapag-interact sa madaming tao sa 4 years ko sa organization na 'to. So, yun lang yung masasabi ko. Masya-shock ka na lang na madami kang matututunan sa kanila and mabi-break talaga yung some of the misconceptions na ayun, na na-form sa generation nila. Kasi yun nga, parang some of them kasi, although yes, admittedly, meron talagang nagli-live up dun sa mga misconception. But however, hindi kasi siya pwedeng i-generalize. Yun lang yung masasabi ko. Kasi there are a lot of people na throughout time din naman is nakakapag-adapt din sila sa current time. Na hindi sila nasa-stuck sa kung ano man yung, kung ano yung nasa dati. So yun, I guess yun yung natutunan ko throughout. So yun lang naman for me.
Gets naman, gets. I love your insights about that, Ate Mikmik. So how about Miss Jane, Ma'am Jane? What is it like from your generation to be part of the workforce?
Um, During that time when I graduated, hindi pa masyadong madami ang babae sa critical positions or management positions. And I was with a very a huge company that sabi nila only promoted women who would sleep with the bosses. Yung mga ganyan. Okay. So, since medyo I knew my capacity and I knew my goals and I knew what I wanted, I felt that I had a very strong need to grow, to grow in knowledge and to grow in my career, in my position, etc., etc. And I said, I don't want this environment where I need to sacrifice something just to get ahead. So I left. I left that company. It's a very, very big and popular company, unfortunately. But yeah, and because I had that experience, I made sure that the next few the next companies that I joined had a culture, had principles and values that um, I was comfortable with, especially that of my immediate boss. No, so definitely, I enjoy being part of the workforce, and I stayed for more than 40 years. And then because of age, I said, you really have to retire na. But when I retired, I felt lost, no? Parang tapos na ba? Parang gano'n. Parang ayoko pang matapos. Parang I still want to be part of the workforce and I still want to grow. I still want to learn. Um, Lalo na, there's so many new things, no, that weren't available during my first 10 years of work. Like, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have well, our computers were as big as cabinets, yung mga ganyan. Um, so that was my era then, no? And because of the changes in technology and even in food, no, parang it has sustained my hunger for learning and growing. So sabi ko, how do I do that now that I'm retired, no? So I enrolled. I enrolled in a school, and I'm taking my master's in counseling. Okay, and just this year I started doing HR work, but in a small school. In a small school. So now I feel like like I have one foot back in the workforce, and one foot back in school. So it's to me, I know some people are telling me, ano ka ba naman, naka 40 years ka na ng pagtatrabaho, magpahinga ka na, travel, parang gano'n, see the world and smell the flowers, mga tipong ganyan, catch up with friends. I guess it's not just part of my personality also, like, because I will be where the learning is. I will be where the challenge is, even at my age. You know, I was like that. I was like that in my elementary years, and I'm still like that now. Mm. So I guess what's key is knowing yourself, and knowing yourself takes a while. I mean, it's not parang instant ba na bukas kilala mo na sarili mo, ganun. No, it's a long process of getting to know yourself. That's why you have to be able to make adjustments along the way. Um, if it no longer fits, then you move to where it fits.
Gets naman po. Pero like, I've been wondering po, um, ano po yung tingin niyo about working with younger generations? Is there like meron ba generational shock or like kamusta naman yung work ano nila, ethics nila compared to your generation po?
In my experience, the uh, the playing field is similar in the sense that, okay, you have the same types of people, you know. Even in the 70s, there were slackers, there were backbiters, there were, nerds, and there were mga masisipag and mababait, um and the same. I mean, when you work with the young now, you
Mm.
will still find the same kind. You will have people who are open to you. You will find people who only like to do what's easy. You will find people who pretend. You will find people who are geniuses at something, you know. So
Yeah.
parang the types of talent before and now are the same. Iba lang yung um kumbaga, iba lang yung iba lang yung uh, I guess the content, but the process and the types are the same, but the content of their expertise, the content of their preferences, baka iba, you know.
Mm.
My classmates are all in their 20s and early 30s, and I mean my classmates in the MA school, and I am enjoying being with them. I am enjoying being with the young. In the school, in the school that I am doing consulting work, I am also surrounded with people who are still in their senior high, and their teachers who are either newly grads or graduates of 2 decades ago. And what is important is your openness, your openness to uh, the new, the old, the evolving, not only outside yourself, but also in yourself. You know, just be open.
Gets naman po, you can't really generalize people or generations into something, no? Pero yun, moving on to our next question. How did you excel or become successful in your chosen career? Miss Jane, you can answer po first. Like, how did you become, parang, you could say, personally successful?
I would say first, you have to keep some level of integrity, kasi ang daming temptations dyan, lalo na when, you know, people think that you want to move up, they tempt you one way or another. So you have to stick to your values and don't compromise them for, getting ahead or earning more. Second is hard work, really. If the job needs to be finished every night by midnight, every day, then be it. So be it. So kasi when you show your manager or your company that one, you value your work and the results that come from your work, and if you show that you value the goals and the aspirations of the group or the company, then then trust will, happen. And the more your bosses trust you, um, and they know that they can depend on you, na hindi ka bibitaw when the going gets tough, then then they will give you more more responsibilities. They will entrust more challenges to you. If you're, I guess if you're looking for something easy, light, um, that's probably okay, but depende kasi sa goal mo eh. If you want to be average and you'll be happy, really, and it will meet all of your other needs, kasi iba-iba naman tayo ng needs eh, then fine. But kung meron kang goal, meron kang aspirations that will require you to move up, you know, and marami talagang sacrifices na kailangan. Yeah. I had a boss before na he would start work, he would come to work. He would come to work around 10. He was the president. He would come to work around 10, but he would warm up for work stuff around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So so that's when he'll start meeting, he'll start reviewing our reports, etc., etc. And if he has corrections on our reports, he doesn't want anybody to go home yet. So typically, we stay in the office until 2 in the morning. He buys all of us food, and whatever we want to eat and drink, but he doesn't want anybody going home until we finish the report. And usually it's around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. So I guess you you give what is demanded or required, but you also have to check yourself. Is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? So I was there for 2 years and then I moved on. Parang not, I mean, if you can't manage his time the way I want to manage my time, medyo mahirap yun.
Mm.
Gets naman po. So parang persistence is key, but you have to know your own limits as well.
Right,
Mm.
yeah. Your own limits and your own goals. Oo.
Yeah.
Kung medyo off tangent na yung goal ng company or your boss sa goal mo, then it's better to find another place. Mm.
Gets po. So Ate Vic, how about you? Do you consider yourself successful or like how did you I'll let you do the talking na.
Okay. Siguro I can speak as an undergraduate student. Yon. Siguro what I can say is hindi ko masasabing, of course I can't say na successful na ako. Kasi undergrad pa lang ako. However, what I can say is in a sense, I mean, hindi sa nagbubuhat ng sariling bangko, but malayo na yung narating ko. Yon. I guess that's how you can say it. Parang, although sobrang layo pa ng mga natatahakin, gano'n. But, malayo na eh. Kahit malayo pa yung pupuntahan ko, malayo na rin naman yung narating ko. Ganon, basically. Yun lang yung masasabi ko. It's because, ayun, you were asking kung paano or bakit, gano'n. It's because, siguro, isa lang masasabi ko eh, always be willing to grow. Yun lang. Yun kasi talaga yung thinking ko na hindi ako pwedeng ma-stuck lang sa isang bagay na ganito lang yung ginagawa ko, na lagi na lang yung ganyan, nakapagising ko, ganun pa rin, walang improvement, etc. Ayoko nang ganon, in a sense. Parang, it doesn't make me happy, it doesn't fulfill me. Parang, wala, parang basically gano'n, parang kapag hindi ako nag-grow or hindi ako natututo, parang, gano'n, parang, wala. Walang spark, gano'n. So, yun lang, parang gano'n yung thinking ko, that's why, ayun, that's why ganito, that's why na-achieve ko yung ganito um, na, even though undergraduate student pa lang ako, tapos at the same time maayos, I can say na maayos naman yung grade ko. I can say na maayos din ako mag-perform sa org. It's because I always aim for growth. Parang lagi akong nagdi-discover ng mga bagay na dapat kong pang-i-improve and dapat ko pang gawin. Kasi, yun nga, parang in a sense kasi kapag hindi ka willing to grow, bakit ka maging, parang, I mean, may hirapan ka maging successful eh. May hirapan kang mag-move forward. Kasi, yun nga, hindi ka nag-grow eh. Ano ka lang, parang steady ka lang. Ganon. So, pag ganon, I mean, kasi of course, yun nga, sabi ni Ma'am Jane, it's not the same for everyone. Depende yun sa thinking mo. But, in my case, ganon ako mag-isip. Na hindi ako pwedeng palutang-lutang lang. Basically, ganon. Parang dapat may na-achieve ako sa buhay. Kaya I can say na malayo pa man yung tatahakin ko, at the same time, malayo na rin yung narating ko. Yun lang naman for me.
Well
And I guess
said, Mikaela.
yes po. And I guess it really all boils down to how we define success din in our own terms. Pero despite that, I think talaga with success and excelling, the ang na-pick up ko po talaga is one of the most important key factors is to stick to your core. To stick to yourself and stick to what you believe in and what you really want. And yun, never stop seeking for growth because no matter how we excel at something, at the end of the day, there's always something more to learn. So, ayan. Kuya Daryl, ikaw ba? May insights ka about this?
Honestly, when Ate Mikmik talked about growth, meron akong naalala, regard nung SHS ko, may nagturo sa akin, yung isang social science prof ko. Nagtanong siya for like 2 weeks kung nagtanong siya kung when is development bad. Tapos isa lang daw yung sagot. Tapos for like 2 weeks, tinry namin hulaan kung kailan ba bad ang development. Kasi may plus points. Syempre, hindi naman namin gagawin kung walang plus points. Joke lang. Pero ayun, he
Felt
talked about he talked about yung development, it's only bad when it stops. So, I think he was talking about countries or something like that. Basta along those lines. Pero, somewhat, parang nag-resonate din siya kasi it can, parang pwede mo siyang gawing analogy to yourself then na you have to constantly push yourself to grow better, something like that. And even if you think na hindi ka nag-grow or hindi ka ganun ka-productive, somehow yung what you think na productivity mo is 1/10 is actually a 10/10 in that day or as compared to other people. So just continue to push yourself to be better and just don't give up. Don't give up, okay? So ayun, that's my thoughts about.
And so super motivating talaga to hear the success stories of our guests and syempre how they went about with excelling in life and seeking for their personal successes. But we all know din kasi that success does not come without challenges. And one of the most common challenges siguro that people experience in seeking for success is maintaining a good work-life balance. So yung next question po namin is, in your respective career journeys po ba, have you ever had trouble balancing work and your personal life? Siguro for this, we can hear first from Ate Mikmik and then Ma'am Jane.
Hello. Okay. So, very timely yung question, no? Having trouble in I mean, I can say kasi I mean, I can say na wala. It's because nagagawa ko naman lahat. Nagagawa ko lahat, gano'n. And nagagawa ko lahat ng mga gusto kong gawin, may it be personal, may it be work, may it be for academics. However, I guess the part lang na mahirap would be, laging full yung schedule ko. Ganon. Laging full yung schedule ko, like to the point na walang time na wala. Parang as my friends say, yeah, actually si Yara na audience ngayon is one of my closest friends. And lagi nilang sinasabi na lagi raw may ginagawa. Walang oras na wala akong ginagawa. Ayun. They even have a term na kapag, share ko lang, they even have a term na kapag busy din sila, ang tawag nila is Mikmik era. Kasi my nickname is Mikmik. My nickname is Mikmik. And then, kapag sinasabi nilang busy sila, oh my God, Mikmik era ko, ganon. Gumaganon sila. Kasi, busy sila eh. Tapos, ganon, parang na-associate nila sa akin yung pagiging busy, ganon. But, yun, in a sense kasi, hindi, in a sense, parang, sa perspective ko kasi, nababalance ko siya. Yun nga, in a sense, nagagawa ko lahat. However, kasi sa perspective ng iba, parang, sila na yung nahihirapan for me because, ang dami kong ginagawa. Like, lahat, laging full. So, yun, what I can say is, in a sense, oo, but, the other side of it is like, nako-compromise, may nako-compromise lang, which is, yung rest, ganon. Basically, yun lang naman yun. But, overall,
Hindi nila lang ang rest.
okay, sige, hindi lang. Ayan, ayan, yun. Basically, yun lang naman yun. Nagagawa ko lahat, but, yun nga, yun lang, I guess, yung consequence niya. Na parang, dahil nababalance mo nga lahat, literal na binabalance mo lahat kasi lahat siya nandun sa table mo, tapos lahat mo siya gagawin. Basically, parang ganun siya. Oo. So, yun. But, however, that is one of the things that I'm working on. Na dapat, although kahit binabalance, yun nga, sa pamamagitan kasi ng pagbalance lahat, yun, parang nandun na siya lahat eh. Yun yung wino-work on ko ngayon na dapat marunong din akong magpahinga. Dapat meron akong time for myself na hindi lang laging organization, ACADS, work, etc. Hindi lang dapat ganun. Dapat isipin mo rin yung sarili mo. Ganun. Which is, I'm slowly learning pa. So, yun. More of like both. Yes.
Since you think that you could improve,
Mm.
what do you think you could do better? Na parang, like, what do you think you could do para mas ma-improve pa?
Para ma-improve pa. I guess learning how to say no. And learning how to prioritize myself. Yun pa yung kailangan kong improve. Like for example, uy, Mikmik, okay lang ba gawin mo to? Okay lang ba ikaw yung mag-lead nito? Kapag sinabi yun sa akin, tapos pag nakita ko, for example, full na, sorry. Parang pag nakita kong full na yung table ko, pwede ko yung tanggihan. Kasi may ugali kasi ako na ganun eh, na pag may binigay sa akin, tapos kapag nakita kong pwede ko pang isingit kahit a little bit, go. Hindi ko yung tinatanggihan. But yun nga, nako-compromise na ganun. Yes, go.
Ate
Daryl, ano
Mikmik,
yun?
pwede ka ba maging speaker ng podcast namin? No.
Hindi. Hindi. Kaya nandito na tayo, Daryl. Nandito na tayo, Daryl. Wala nang no-no dyan. Nandito na ako. But yun, I guess yun yung dalawang bagay na kailangan ko pang i-improve. Na dapat iniisip ko rin yung sarili ko. And learning how to say no. Kasi doon ako nahihirapan eh na yun nga, I am juggling a lot of things na yung palaging ibang tao na lang yung iniisip ko na nakakalimutan ko na nakakalimutan ko na yung sarili ko. But, yun, nonetheless naman, fulfilling pa rin naman yung ginagawa ko. And I am learning how to do it. I am learning how to properly take care of myself while, of course, properly taking care of other people. Of course, hindi naman yun mawawala. So, yun.
Gets naman, gets naman. Kung Mikmik era yung masipag, dahil era yung tamad.
Oy, grabe! Grabe Hindi ako naniniwalang tamad ka, Daryl. Walang ganon.
Actually, ako nga wala akong life. Wala akong personality.
Ay,
Pero yun, Miss Jane, how about you? Have you ever had trouble balancing work and life?
Actually, nung nagsasalita si Mikmik, parang, she's speaking for me. Ganon. Ah, yeah. Medyo full din lagi yung ano ko, yung table ko. And I also had a friend, who said, alam mo, what your problem is, you don't know how to rest. You know, kahit na ngayon actually, like kung merong kung meron akong isang araw na parang wala akong ginagawa, although they said, kailangan namin talaga ng rest, lalo na kaming mga seniors, etc., etc. Nagi-guilty ako eh. Nagi-guilty ako na
Mm.
wala akong ginagawa. Gano'n. Parang maghahanap at maghahanap ako ng gagawin. And then I tell myself, wag, chill ka lang. Parang I fight with myself. A part of me wants to do something and a part of me wants to say, no, no, don't do anything. Rest ka lang, rest ka lang. And it's been like that. Siguro, ewan ko kung nakaka-addict din yun na para pag wala kang ginagawa, para kang nagwi-withdrawal, yung ganyan. And yon, problema ko rin yon, how to rest, how to take care of, have time for myself. But when I was still actively employed, nagkaroon ako ng parang dilemma dyan sa work and life nung nagkaroon ako ng anak. Yun. Because before that, my husband is very supportive, no. Wala siyang tanong, wala siyang parinig if I come home at midnight because of work and all of that. Okay lang 'yan, wala akong maririnig from him. But nung nagkaroon na ako ng anak, parang ako na yung nag-aano, ako na yung nagi-guilty na. And then I make paalam to my anak. When I was already able to talk to him, I tell him, son, I still have a report to finish. And then he says, how long? I said, maybe 2 more hours. And then he'll say, 2 more hours? By that time, I'd be asleep. So because I asked him, I don't know if I should go home now and finish this tomorrow. I'll finish this now. Or, he says, well, even if you come home now, I'll be asleep already. So just finish it. He goes like that. So parang, yon, I struggled more when I had a child, no, because I knew that he also needed me, no, needed my time, needed my attention. Um, and I am grateful that now that I am not fully employed and I'm semi-retired, I'm able to give him a lot of time. But syempre, even if I apologize to him now, I tell him I'm sorry that I wasn't around when you needed me when you were young. Then he says, ma, 10 years ago, I would have minded that, but now I'm okay. So it really affected him. Like yung mga milestones niya, like his first communion, I was abroad, for work. Yung mga special milestones niya, sometimes I wasn't around because of work. Yun, and I know that hurt him. Pero yun, siguro when I would apologize, and when he was 21, that's what he told me. He says, ma, you don't have to say sorry for something that I think I will be doing myself when I have my own family. Sabi niya, if I were 10 years younger, yeah, it might have hurt, but now I'm okay with it. So yun lang yung parang naging issue ko sa working too much or putting too many things on my plate, not being able to say no to my boss or to my company, because nga, again, my priority was I wanted them to know that I'm dependable, that they can depend on me. So parang inequate ko being dependable means saying yes to everything, parang ganon. So, and hindi rin siguro tama yon all the time. No? And you really have to have your priorities very clear every time so that you don't have any regrets. Um, so maybe there was a point in my career that um, I placed too much priority on my work and not on my being present to my son. No, and you know that's a regret I have because my son is more important. I mean, it's the most important to me. Nakakahiya nga kasi there was a time that there was a long vacation and I said to my son, where do you want to go for this long vacation? He says, where do you want to stay? We can stay in a hotel, choose. And then his question was, and he was like, siguro he was like 6 or 7, which hotel is nearest to your company, to your office? I said, why? Why does it matter? So while we're on vacation, if you're needed, it'll be easy for you to go to work. So even then, no, I don't know, I gave him the impression that, work will always be priority for me. So medyo sampal yun sa akin. I said, no, 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 you're more important. Parang siguro, parang ganun siya, no? I mean, parang my words and my actions were not being compatible to him, no? I tell him that he's the most important, but I spend most of my time at work. Yeah.
Gets naman po. Can I ask po, anong edad na po ng son niyo right now?
Right now he's
Like,
30. He's 30.
ah,
He's still single. Yeah.
Ate Mikmik. Joke lang, joke lang.
Yeah, still single.
Pero yun.
Siya naman so chill. You know, ako, I'd focus, stress out on something. Siya naman parang, ganyan, yeah, chill lang. And then he keeps, when I tell him, why don't you do this and do that and do that? He says, Ma, why do you worry about everything? No wonder you have migraines all the time. Goes like that. And when I want him to take things seriously, nafu-frustrate ako because he's so cool. Parang, yeah, nothing. Pero he knows naman the value of hard work. So,
So yun, super fascinating po to hear these sentiments kasi actually share ko lang din po. Before, I also had the same problem about like doing too much work. Na parang when I wasn't doing anything, I always berated myself because I felt like a failure. So parang there was one time in grade 11 na parang I was new to the school, so parang naninibago ako na ang onti ng workload. So parang during my break time, during times na wala akong ginagawa, I was making research papers. So come grade 12, I had 4 studies ready for one subject. So um naka-relate po ako dun sa hindi po makatigil sa pag-work kasi parang if I don't do anything, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Pero I guess it comes din po kasi with loving what we do and loving kasi parang if you love what you do, sometimes work can be comforting na din and sometimes work can be rest na din. And yeah, I guess yun nga din po. As time goes by, our priorities start to shift. Nagkakaroon ng changes sa wiring natin. So ayun, yun po.
self-awareness is important.
Yeah, yeah. Pero ayun, moving on po, based on my own experience then, one of the biggest challenges when trying to achieve a work-life balance is, knowing when to rest. Like what you guys said. Woo! Especially today in which we have a grind culture wherein we feel like we're required to work, 24/7. So for our next question, do you have any advice on how to change the mindset of needing to work all the time? Ganon. Maybe Miss Jane can answer this question first.
If there was an advice, I'd give that to myself. Uh, no. I think what is important, like I said earlier, is that you know yourself and that you take care of yourself because especially health, no? And sa mga bata, hindi pa nila masyadong mararamdaman yan kasi you're at the peak of your youth and all of that. But pag inaabuso mo na at a very young age yung katawan mo, mas maaga yung onset ng deterioration ng health mo. So, I think one is to value health is my first advice to value health.
Health is
Health is
wealth.
wealth.
Mhm. Yeah, health is wealth. It's a cliche, but it's really, really true. Kasi wala ka naman magagawa kung may sakit ka o kung masakitin ka. I mean, nobody's gonna hire you or anything like that. Tsaka everything gets to slow down. Your thinking gets to slow down when you're sick. Your movements become too slow, etc., etc. So don't take health for granted, and at any age, um, at any age, and I guess your goals have to be also very very clear. Parang and a regular assessment of baka naman sumusobra na yung ginagawa mo para sa goal na gusto mo ma-achieve. Ganon. Maybe you're just filling up all of your time because that's where you feel a sense of self-worth, but not necessarily relevant to your goal, you know.
That's
So yon awareness of yourself, awareness of your goal, taking care of your not deprioritizing health. That's why
that's
rest
naman po. Mm.
rest is important. eight
Gets,
hours
gets, gets.
8 hours sleep.
Mhm.
Nagsalita. I don't even get that.
Ate Mikmik, how about you? Nakakuha mo ba yung 8 hours of sleep? Joke lang.
Hindi talaga. Hindi rin eh. Hindi rin talaga. Siguro so far maximum ko 5 hours. Masaya na ako ron. Masaya na ako sa 5 hours. Swerte na ako ron. Siguro, advice. Iniisip ko kung anong puwede kong i-advice kasi feeling ko yung i-a-advice ko kailangan ko rin, eh. Parang kakainin ko lang yung sinabi ko, charot. Hindi. Pero, for me, I guess what I can say is yun talaga, eh, unahin mo rin yung sarili mo. Yun lang talaga yung masasabi ko kasi that's very important. Kasi, 'di ba work ka ng work, you serve other people, et cetera. Um, paano ka pa makakapag-work, paano ka pa makakapag-deliver ng maayos, paano ka makakapag-serve sa other people ng maayos kung ikaw ubos na ubos ka na and drain na drain ka na and hindi mo naalagaan yung sarili mo. Um, kasi yun nga, kung hindi mo ay hindi kung wala ka na kumbaga kung gano'n, wala ka ng maibigay. So, mawawala yung purpose kung bakit ka nagtatrabaho or bakit ka nagkakaroon ng goal sa life. Kasi ubos ka na eh. So, ganun yung tendency if hindi mo i-prioritize yung sarili mo, unahin yung happiness mo, yung mga ganun na bagay. It's really important, like, simple things na, for example, i-date mo yung sarili mo, lumabas ka mag-isa, mag-stroll around ka, kung yun yung nagbibigay sa'yo ng peace, go, gawin mo yun. Kumain ka mag-isa sa labas, i-treat mo yung sarili mo like ice cream, favorite food, bumili ka ng favorite mo na gamit, yung deserve mo na, for example, deserve mong shoes, damit, stuffed toy, go, gawin mo yun. Or kung hindi naman ganun, spend time with your friends, with your family, with your significant other, yung mga ganun na bagay that fulfills you, that makes you happy, gawin mo yun. Kasi important yun. Para rin magkaroon ka rin ng fuel, mas ma-motivate ka. Mas ma-motivate ka pang mag-grow, mas ma-motivate ka pang mas mag-work hard, gano'n. Kasi hindi ka pa ubos, eh, nagre-recharge ka, so may ibibigay ka pa lalo. Ayun, yun lang naman for me.
Gets. How about you, Waki? Do you have any learnings or insights from our two speakers?
Yeah, so actually super insightful ng talk today and parang na-validate ako nung sinabi ni Ate Mikmik about, finding joy in the little things kasi parang whenever I get tired, parang that's how I find my rest talaga. I find rest in the little things that I enjoy, in the mundane things that, that give me happiness kasi as someone na walang hobbies, dun talaga ako nakakahanap ng strength, ng comfort, ganun. And like, ayun, super, super naging insightful nitong talk na today for me because as a college student struggling with work-life balance, very, very timely yung naging talk for me. And I guess, yun nga, as ang pinaka-main takeaway ko talaga is as our priorities in life are starting to shift, nagkakaroon na rin tayo ng, different, kumbaga, or developing understanding of ourselves and, you know, knowing what our core is talaga.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. I'm sure that just like Waki and me, our audience also enjoyed this very insightful conversation with our guest speakers. So we would like to express our utmost gratitude to Miss Michaela Renee Ong and Miss Jane Montilla, who gave us the opportunity to hear and learn from their memories.
Yeah, and also we would like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in for today's episode. So sana, just like us, we hope that you gain some lessons from the shared memories of our speakers and be able then to apply yung advices nila in our lives.
Yeah, don't worry, everyone. You will get to hear more exciting and significant memories on the next episode of our podcast series, which will be about the childhood and upbringing of people from different generations. Abangan nyo yan, guys.
Yes, I'm sure that our next episode will just be as good as this one. But for now, it's time for us to wrap this episode up. Again, I am Waki, reminding you that you can get that degree while still enjoying life.
Yeah, and I'm Daryl wishing you good luck in balancing the seesaw of work and life. Thank you and have a good day ahead, Tomashems.